Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Ryder, Rich Ass Ryder to be exact, and I'm coming at you guys with another video. As you guys can tell by the title, this video is going to be a story time slash mukbang. So if you're interested in this video, continue watching. Before I get started, I just want to tell you guys, if you are new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you are not new and you still haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. So before I get into the story time, I just want to let you guys know I have y'all can't even see it, but I have some wings right here. I got 15 piece. These are the Dirty Bird wings. It's from a local spot in my neighborhood. It's like 5 different types of flavors in this, so yeah, don't ask me what is in there because I don't know. I just know it's Dirty Bird and it's good. So okay, so you guys, yeah. This story time is just going to be about my experience working there. This is going to be like my personal experience and what I went through while working there. No, I'm not bashing this company whatsoever. So if you think this video is about me bashing Amazon as a company, that's not going to happen. I love Amazon. Like Jeff Bezos, if you're watching this, you can slide in your DM. You feel me? This is just like my personal experience and what I went through while working there. So yeah. So yeah, let's just get right into this video. So I started working at Amazon in 2014. I started in December. It was like peak season. So I started working there. I came in full time, but little did I know it was only going to be like a seasonal full time position. I did not know that at the time. Until orientation, it was like, yeah, this is going to be seasonal. So yeah. So I started in December. Now, I had already had a job for that too. And I quit that job. So right there, it was full time. But if I knew it was going to be seasonal, I wouldn't even quit that job. So yeah. After that peak season, now 2015, I became part-time. So at that point, I'm like, dang, what am I finna do now? I thought it was gonna be full-time. So I'm like, this time I wasn't in school, but I'm like, you know what, might as well just go back to school or whatever and do that and work Amazon at nighttime. So I ended up doing that in August or whatever because I thought they had this HR position, and like me, I always wanted to work in HR. So I'm like, okay, let me go back to school, get a degree, and then like, you know, I can move up and work in HR. But little did I know at the time, you really don't even need a degree. So yeah, if you work at Amazon and you think you need it, you really don't need a degree to move up in the company. FYI. But I thought that at the time. So I ended up going back to school or whatever in 2015. So I'm just working part-time, you know, not really caring about moving up in the company. Like, I really didn't care. So then, and at this time, I really decided it's like a regular part-time job. Like, I'm just working this job while I'm in school, not really thinking about moving up or whatever. So then 2016 hit or whatever. And y'all, I didn't really get into a fight. Don't ask me about this fight. Don't ask me because I'm not going to go into detail about it. But I ended up getting into a fight like early 2016. But I didn't get fired. So I'm like, okay, maybe this is my sign to, maybe I'm here for a purpose. So yeah. And so I'm like, okay, let me try to like, you know, actually move up in the company, like actually put forth effort and stuff to move up in the company. So I thought I didn't get fired. I'm like, okay, when peak season come around again, I'm gonna apply to be an ambassador. And that's what I did. I became an ambassador that year, that peak season. And when I tell y'all that was the worst thing I ever did, like, I feel like because at that time it was just like, it was still kind of new. The building was still new. And everything was just so unorganized. And even like the people that I was like ambassadors with, Like, I don't know what it is about females, but like females just don't like me. Like, I don't know. Like, so yeah, just like off the rip, like they don't even be knowing me for real, for real. They don't even be liking me. So yeah, that's what kind of happened when I was in while I was an ambassador. So that's what I experienced. So I was just like, you know what, I don't even really like being an ambassador. And then, and plus at that time, it was on like maybe 8 ambassadors, and we was training like 50 people at one time. Like they was bringing on like 100 people in one day, and we all had to like train them and stuff like that. Like it was just a lot. It was just so much chaos at that time. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not really interested in being an ambassador, because another thing, I thought you had to be an ambassador so you can move up, but you don't. Like, so you really don't. So I'm like, okay. So once I figured it out, after that peak 2016, I was like, yeah, I'm really not feeling the whole ambassador thing. Like, at that point, I really didn't even want to work for Amazon no more. And so I started trying to look for other jobs, like, after that. But I was applying to jobs, and still nothing was coming through for me. So I'm like, man, fuck this shit. I'm stuck here. So I'm like, man, whatever, man. Let me just do my job, go to school, go home, whatever. So, yeah. So then, now 2017, and so I feel like I see people, this one I'm starting to realize, like, you don't have to be an ambassador, and you really don't need no college degree to move up. That's when I started seeing all this. So I'm like, okay. 2017 now, we like I'm already 2-3 years in. So I'm like, okay, fuck it. I'm finna just flat out apply for this HR position, seasonal HR position, once peak season come around. So, yeah, I ended up applying for this HR position. And tell me why I ended up missing the phone call. I don't know what I was thinking. And they called me like 2 times, I believe, 2-3 times, and I missed, all the calls. So then, a few weeks later, I ended up checking my voicemail, and I started to hear Carmen. So then I went and I talked to the like the head HR. I don't know what they call her, but I went and talked to her or whatever. She was like, she already filled the position. So I'm like, dang, man. But I'm stuck at scanning boxes some more. So yeah, I waited a few more months to so they could open up another HR position. And they did, and then I ended up getting a call back. This is the following year, 2018, I believe. So they ended up calling me back, and I went to the interview. Yeah, when I tell y'all the interview, I sucked in that interview. Like, I sucked. For one, I was blindsided because it was 2 people interviewing me. I did not know it was gonna be 2 people interviewing me. And then the lady who was interviewing me, like, when I was trying to talk to her, like, her eyes just kept moving, and that shit made me so fucking nervous. I'm like, what the fuck is going on with her? Like, why is her eyes like, I don't know, it was just, I can't even do it, but it was just like, and I thought maybe somebody was walking behind me. I don't know. And I was sitting in front of a glass. I was in her office. So I'm like, maybe somebody walking behind me, but I don't know. I just didn't like it. Like, that shit that made me so uncomfortable how fast her eyes were moving, and she wasn't even looking at me, so yeah. So I ended up blowing the interview. I didn't even get that job at that time. So I was kind of sad about that or whatever. I'm like, you know what? Forget trying to work for HR. I'm going to try to become a PA. And so, y'all, I ended up, like, working my butt off, like, the whole summer of 2018 up until, like, the fall time. Like, I was working my ass off. Like, I was going to work, like, probably, like, 30 minutes earlier. 45 minutes earlier to help them set up. And then, like, I wouldn't really stay over because, nah, that was just too much. But I would get there early or whatever. And it's just, like, even the managers, they knew my name. Like, if they needed me to go somewhere, you know, like, I was helping them. Like, whatever. They knew I was a hard worker or whatever. So like peak season come around again, so I end up telling this one manager, her name Tanisha or whatever. I end up telling her, I'm like, hey Tanisha, what if I told you I'm interested in being a PA or whatever? She's like, what she say? She was like, you want to be a PA? You sure you can do that or whatever? I'm like, yeah. She was like, you better talk on the radio. Because at this time, like, I really don't talk to nobody up there. But I'm a hard worker. So she was like, you sure you better talk on the radio? I'm like, yeah, I better do all this, that. So I guess she ended up telling this other manager, BJ or whatever. So then, like, when PCs come around, BJ was like, hey, did you put in the application to be, like, a seasonal PA or whatever? I'm like, I think at the time I didn't. And I ended up telling him, yeah. Yeah, I already did. I don't know. But he ended up asking me. And I ended up putting in the application. I don't know if I did before or after he asked me. But he was like, I ended up doing it. I told him that I did it. So he was like, okay. So he was like, okay, cool. And then like, okay, in this process, they were like, okay, we're gonna make you a PA. You want to become a PA, like whatever. And we folks telling me that I'm gonna be a PA. And they was telling me that they gonna make me one or whatever. So like I ended up doing the interview. Like when that came to work, BJ was like, "An interview today." I'm like, really? I'm like, really? My interview today? I'm like, if I do that, I would just or whatever. He's like, that don't matter what it is. So I did interview. Aced that completely because I already knew what to expect. So I aced the fuck out that interview. So they was like, yeah, we're gonna get like yeah, like they like you folks telling me that yeah, they gonna make me one do this, that. So weeks go by. And you feel me? And ain't that happen. Like, I'm like, damn, what the fuck? So then they end up telling me, miscommunications with some of the night shift managers versus day shift managers, stuff like that. Because I wanted to work night shift instead of day shift. So there was like, miscommunication of this or that. So I ended up, so that way, I ended up not even becoming a PA. So I'm like, damn, man, y'all folks sitting here telling me that I'm finna be a PA. And I'm not. Like, y'all lied to me. Like, I took that straight to the heart. Like, y'all, that made me so, I was so hurt. Like, I was so sad. I'm like, damn, man, so I really did all this work for nothing. Like, y'all folks in here lying to me. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Like, that shit really caused me to go into, like, seasonal depression. Like, I honestly ended up not going to work for a good 3 months after that because I was just so sad. I was just so hurt, and I'm just like, I can't really look at these folks every day like acting like nothing's wrong with me when deep down inside, like I really wanted that job. Like I was really hurt by that shit. So I ended up not going to work for like 3 months. And how I was able not to go to work is because I was just VTO or whatever. So yeah, I was just VTO just about every day for 3 months because I was just hurt by that shit. And then plus it was cold, and I don't really like cold weather either. And y'all know like when it get cold, you really, like I was really suffering from seasonal depression. So yeah, I ended up not going to work until like it got back warm. So like that was in December, so I ain't go back to work till like March, April. I ain't even gonna lie to you. So yeah, that ended up happening. Then when they came in, they were like, what happened to you? I was just like, I was sick. Like that was all I told them. I ain't tell them that, and like dang, like they did ended up like giving me a certificate, like employee of the month certificate, and like a little gift card or whatever. But that didn't make up for y'all telling me that I was gonna get a job and y'all not giving it to me. So yeah, that's what had to happen. So that was like what? Oh, that happened in 2018. In 2019, that's when I started going back to work. So summer of 2019, which was last year, I saw that they had opened up this new building like right down the street. So I'm like, you know what? Okay, since I can't make it here, since I'm having a difficult time like moving up in the company here, you know what? What I've seen other people do is that like they'll transfer and they'll transfer back into a higher position. So I'm like, you know what? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna transfer to this new location, and plus like the hours were better. It fit better with my school schedule, stuff like that. I would only work 3 days a week overnight for 8 hours versus working like 4 or 5 days out the week for 4 hours, stuff like that. So I'm like, okay. I'm finna transfer back to this new building. I'm finna transfer to this new building. And I'm only gonna give myself a year. I'm like, if I'm not transferring back a year, if I can't transfer back within a year, I'm quitting. Just straight out flat, I'm quitting. Like, I'm be done with Amazon. Because at this point, I'm getting older and older. Like, and I'm not moving up in this company. So what's the point of me even staying here? Like, I could just, like, it was so much other stuff that I wanted to do. But yeah, I was put all my focus on this one thing and this one job. So I ended up transferring to the building or whatever. So yeah, I had to go. I was focused on like, okay, I'll be here within a year, and then within this year, I'm gonna transfer back. So this was shit get real. This was shit get interesting. So within the year, well, no, a few months working there, you know, everything was going good. You know, that I was the top scanner there. They ended up giving me a TV. Y'all, what? I was like, what the fuck, a TV? Y'all, these people ended up giving me a TV because I was like one of the top scanners there. So when I tell everything was going good, everything was going great, like I was focused. I was like, okay, I'm gonna work hard, and then within this year, I'm gonna transfer back over there. When I said everything was going great, everything was going good, until I met this boy. See, and I just and shit. Well, I ain't gonna say shit just went down here for that, but like, man, Shawty was so fine. I was like. That whole little goal to transfer back over there just went out the window. I swear to God, man, y'all, this man was so fine. So yeah, I ended up meeting this man named Reggie or whatever, Reginald Meadows. So yeah, but we just gonna call him Reggie. So y'all ended up meeting him. He was so fun, y'all. I thought this man was gonna be my husband. I thought we was gonna be together forever. Like, man, I was had this man kids, all that. Like, so yeah, in my job, I already had a boyfriend at the other location. His name was Andy or whatever. I was talking to somebody named Andy at the other location. But he didn't know I had to go to transfer back over there and then transfer back in a higher position. He didn't know that at the time. So yeah, so I met Reggie. And then, yeah, everything just went left for that. Well, I don't want to say everything was left, but it was just like I got sidetracked or whatever. And like the whole imagine I had to go transfer it back to ATL 6. Oh shit. Whatever. I had to go to transfer back or whatever. But then like it was just like when I met him, all that just went out the window because shit, I don't know. I just felt like I just wanted, yeah. Anywho, so I ended up putting that goal out of my mind, and I was just like, shit, I might as well just focus on moving up, elevating at this company because I no longer want to have anything to do with that company. I mean, not that company, that building whatsoever. Like I ended up cutting off. I ended up not cutting off. I ended up breaking up with Andy and everything. Like I'm like, fuck everybody and everything they got going on over there because that building just, you know, I just went through so much working over there. Okay, so yeah, I gotta hurry up with this story time. My camera just cut off. But like I was saying, I ended up meeting this boy named Reggie or whatever, and at that point I just was like, fuck ATL 6. I wanted nothing to do with that because I just went through so much with that builder or whatever. So I'm like, you know, it's just fuck it. I ended up breaking up with Andy and everything. So I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I want a future with this company, with this man. Like I was just so focused on building a future with him. So eventually 3 months later, me and him ended up like falling out or whatever and shit like that. So I'm like, damn. My feelings were so hurt. I'm like, damn, that's fucked up. Like, shit. I wanted a future with this nigga. I'm like, damn, what am I gonna do now? Cause you know, man, this dude not talking and like he fucking around with all these other folks in my face, like, and that kind of hurt my feelings. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and transfer back to ATL 6. Like my original, like I can't even talk. I was trying to hurry up. Like my original plan was to transfer back over there. So eventually, I looked on the computer. So one day I just looked on the computer. I saw they had this position open, and I applied to it. But I really didn't want to work that position. Like the only position I really, really, really wanted to work at Amazon was HR because like I don't, even when I was younger, I said, you know what, I probably, if I do have a job, it would be human resource. So yeah, I applied to this position that I didn't really want to do. So they ended up calling me. And I didn't really think they was gonna call me, but they ended up calling me like later on that week. It's the we set up an interview. So tell me why y'all the day before the interview. The day before the interview, Now, mind y'all, me and Richard, we don't even talk. So, the day before the interview, this girl, this bald head, her name KJ. We was cool then, we're not cool now for that bitch. That whole get ass beat. But this bald head, her name KJ. She came up to me, she was like, oh, Richie told me he had played these songs on the radio for you, da da this, da da that. When I tell you I didn't touch my heart, I was like, oh, he did for real? And mind you, I was only really transferred back over there because I didn't want to be around him no more because, you know, he was fucking all the other fuck in my face like shit was cool. So I'm like, damn, I guess me and him got a future again. Let me not take this interview or whatever. So I ended up not doing the interview or whatever. And then come to find out he was like, oh, he was just playing da da this, da da that. So I'm like, damn, I really just fucked up a good opportunity over this guy. So like, anybody watching this man, fucking nigga get money. Period. That's all I gotta say. So yeah, I ended up not doing the interview. And then what's crazy about it is that a few weeks later, me and Andy, we had reconnected and started back talking or whatever. And so I had told him that I had an interview, but I missed it. And I asked him, like, and I was trying to get him to help me, you know, look up job positions since he was at that building. So I'm like, hey, what positions are open? I kept asking him, like, what positions are open? And, like, one time he did do, like, some applications for me, but I didn't get no call back. So, like, every other week I'll be asking him, like, hey, what jobs are open up over there? What jobs are open up over there? So, and each week, as the weeks went by, like, he was less likely to, like, tell me what jobs was open and stuff like that. So, eventually, he ended up telling me, like, oh, now, mind y'all, this is 2020. Now, this is this year. So, he was like, oh, I don't want to work with people that I'm involved with because it'll be too much drama, da-da this, da-da that. So, at the time, I'm not thinking, like, oh, he's fucking with other bitches. At the time, I was thinking, that he was referring to the incident that had first happened when he started talking because he had this one ex-girlfriend. Sorry if I'm talking fast. I just don't want my camera to cut off. So, I was thinking at the time he was talking about the incident where his ex-girlfriend, like me and him first I was talking, his ex-girlfriend was going around telling people like he was gay or whatever and stuff like that because she hadn't went through his phone and stuff like that. So I thought he was referring to that incident. But little did I know at the time he was fucking with other females up there. And this one bitch he was fucking with named Crystal, she actually worked the position that I had applied for earlier in the year. So I'm like, thank God I really didn't get that position because I would have had to work with a bitch that this nigga, like we both would be fucking the same nigga. And that's just like, now I get down like that, like shit really would have, like it really would have been, it would have went down. Like, yeah, it would have been some drama at that time. So yeah, that ended up happening or whatever. So after that, after he told me that like this was in the summertime, this was like May, June. Okay, so yeah, my camera cut off again. But let me hurry up and get over it. Let me hurry up and get through the story time. So basically after he told me that it was in the summertime, so I'm like, you know what? I already told myself if I can't transfer back within the year, I'm quitting, period. Like I done been through, I was just like, yeah, so shit. When my birthday come, and like even leading up to my birthday, well, even leading up to the year mark, like my body, I got this stress point in the back of my neck, on my shoulder, my back and stuff like. And I'm talking about like every day I go to work, it would start hurting. Like beginning of my shift to the end of my shift, like it was just hurting so bad. And I'm just like, fuck. And like I would have to stop what I'm doing like every 10 minutes just to rub my shoulder because it was just hurting so bad. So I'm like, you know what? This is also like my body telling me like it can no longer do this job and stuff like that. So I'm like, fuck it. When my birthday come around, I'm quitting. And my job, it's a whole pandemic. So yeah, I'm like, I don't care. Like, Atlanta is open. Like, we open. So I'm like, I'm just gonna quit. Like, so when I turned 26, I ain't never go back. And another thing, let me tell you, one thing that happened before I left that made me just be like, you know what, fuck this job. So when I was an ambassador back at ATL 6, it was like a girl that I was an ambassador with. I ended up running into her while I was at this new building, and she was also an ambassador. And like I could tell she knew me, but at the time, like I didn't have my glasses or my contacts in, so I couldn't really tell like who this girl was. Like I could see her body shape and stuff like that. I could make out like who she was, but I wasn't really paying no attention to Shawty. So like I'm walking, I'm just doing my job, just walking. Next thing I know, trying to turn around and take a picture of me. And how I know is because like she had a phone, like put my phone in. She ended up doing it's like Shawty, like it was obvious that Shawty took a picture of me. So I'm like, man, you know what, man, fuck this shit, man, fuck this job. I don't gotta go through this shit no more. So yeah, that was like 3 days before I quit. I'm like, man, what the fuck? Like, and before I quit, I hope to run into her, like, before I did that again, so I could say something to her. Because at that time, I really wasn't even feeling good that day. Like, I just wasn't feeling good that day. So, that's why I really say that to her at that time. I'm like, if I run into Shawty again, I'm going to say something to her, be like, Shawty, why you took pictures of you? But I ended up not running into her. So, yeah. So, yeah, after my birthday, after my 26th birthday, I'm like, fuck Amazon. Like, even if there's a whole pandemic going on, I find a way to make some money. I just go do what I always want to do. And that's what I'm doing now. So, and that's dancing. So I was like, yeah, fuck that shit. Like, I'm finna live my life for me. Like, cause at this point, for so many years, I was just living my life for other people. Like, I was in school. Like, I ended up dropping out of school and everything because it wasn't something that I wanted to do. Like, school isn't for me. And I know that for a long time. But I was doing it so I could please, like, my mama and my daddy and all these other folks. You get me? Because that's what people tell you. Oh, go to school, you know, get a degree, like, da-da this, da-da that. But you really don't need none of that. Like, shit. I'm working for myself, you feel me? I'm gonna learn how to make money for myself, stuff like that. So yeah, I ended up dropping out of school, doing all that good stuff because it's just not for me. Like, you gotta go to school to get a degree to work for somebody else. You don't need a degree to work for yourself. Like, period. And it's plenty of ways to make money out here without working for somebody. So that's why I just ended up quitting, because of my shit. Fuck it. Like, I'm not growing in this company, so why should I continue to waste my time and effort? Like, I was one of the most hardest worker up there at both buildings. So I'm like, nah, bro, fuck this shit. So yeah, like, hey, even if they did raise it or whatever, like, still, I just wasn't getting treated right. So that's why I ended up quitting, because shit, I wasn't finna waste no more time and effort into trying to move up in a company that clearly I was successful in after 5 years. So yeah, I just ended up quitting after my birthday. I'm like, shit, this job is not finna have no more of my 20s, period. I'm not getting nothing but older. So, yeah, and I'm just gonna live my life for me. And that's that. So, yeah.